Alrighty, welcome to the podcast, everybody. This is Robert, and I have a returning guest with me today. We have Cori Adkins, and yeah, thank you so much for returning once again to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Like I was talking to you before, I kind of woke up not too long ago, so I'm ready to get this day started.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so let's just talk a little bit about what you've been up to since the last time we spoke, and yeah, just anything that's been new with you. Let's talk about it.
New with me, I've joined a few projects within the last year or so since we've talked. I have a lot more music in the works. I've been in a lot more vocal and voiceover projects as well. I also am a returning staff member and crew member at Sonic Expo Dallas, and I was just there for Atlanta this year. I was Pete Capella's handler, so I'll be doing it again this year in Dallas. So I'm pretty excited to do that as well.
So cool. Yeah, so how is it like working with, Pete? Because I know that he's really awesome, but how is it like beginning to, assist him and all that stuff?
It's great. I mean, me and Pete are already like pretty decent friends. We met
Yeah,
about a few years
same here.
ago, about like
Yeah,
2022, I want to say. So
yeah,
it was
sounds about right.
pretty easy to work with him. And since, I don't have to go through another person to text him, I can just text him myself type stuff. So it was pretty easy to kind of keep communication pretty clear, made sure that all of his payments went through. He got signatures. He met pretty much everybody at the con, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm just glad that you had a good time, and I wish I could be at the expo coming up in November, but at least we still got like, what is it, Sonic Revolution, I think, next year here in California. So we'll see how that goes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't really know any information. Like, I just know they went on a hiatus this year and they're probably going to do something big for the 35th anniversary. So, yeah, I cannot believe 35 years, man.
That's a long
Um,
time.
it really is. Yeah, so we'll just see what happens. Yeah, sorry, something in my teeth, but um,
There you go.
yeah, I was gonna say too, like, because when got into the series, I think you talked about last time how you got into the franchise. I think I kind of got into it around, I want to say it was right when they were changing from the Dreamcast, like it was the GameCube era, and then they switched to the 4Kids actors, and I was like, what just happened? And
Yeah.
then we got, Roger and all of these guys, and I'm like, okay, what is going on? Yeah, so now it just kind of turned into this
Yeah.
discussion of like, oh, who would you say it's your favorite? Is it Ryan? Is it Jason? Is it Roger? Is it Ben Schwartz or Jaleel or whoever else is Sonic at this point? Is it Devin Mac? Just all these guys, and I just really like how each of them just kind of bring their flavor to the character. But yeah, I think just going back to what I was saying, it was like around the time that I was playing Sonic Adventure and then just saw I guess, the dark age of Sonic, so to speak, with like, '06 and all these games. But yeah, remind me again how you got into Sonic, just as a refresher.
How I got into Sonic was mostly the music aspect of everything. I know my first game was Sonic Adventure, and then after that, I think I played Sonic Rush on my DS when I got a DS for my birthday.
My God.
And so it just kind of was a domino effect of, okay, there's a series of this character, and then I found out there was a show, and I was really into TV when I was a kid, so I'd watched Sonic X growing up, and then it kind of grew more when I would find the older shows like Sat AM. I watched that. I watched The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. I watched Sonic Underground, which was a big favorite of mine because, like I said, music was a huge part of my life, and Sonic really kind of like got me into it because of it. So Sonic Underground was a huge influence, and then the game music as well. So a lot of it was musical influence, like I said. And I think it still sticks today.
Yeah, right on. I, like I said, I'm just really happy that everybody got into it at different points because like there's so many different like stages and eras of the series that it's like, hmm. And then you kind of always have the debate of like which era is the best era of Sonic, and I'm just why not all? It's kind of like that old meme, why not both? Just I don't care. Like
Yeah.
whichever era is somebody's favorite, that's that's I'm just always of the opinion of like, look, it's like if somebody has a favorite era, that's totally fine. I know that it's not gonna be the same as like my personal faves or so on and so forth. So yeah, that's just pretty much all I gotta say about, in that, just want to step down from that soapbox for just a sec there.
Hmm.
Yeah. And what would you say out of everything that you've worked on this year, because you said Sonic Expo, but what is something that you consider to be the most proud of or just really exciting in general?
Hmm. I think the most exciting was getting to work on more stuff for our Adrenaline dubs because we've had
Oh
some
yeah.
exciting stuff coming out pretty soon. Other than that, there's some projects that I can't really talk about it, so it'll be just kind of like you have to wait and see. But those projects that I'm on currently right now, I'm very excited for, and I'm very proud of the work that has been put into it. So I can't wait to talk about it once we release it.
Yeah, right on. And I'm just really looking forward to just seeing what else Adrenaline is kind of what they're going to be cooking up because I think I've done like a couple of additionals for them in the past, so we'll just see how that's gonna, you know, how it's gonna turn out.
Hmm.
So for the let's see, what is something that you really love so much about, Sonic, the community, or just doing voiceover in general for like these last couple of years that you've been, doing projects and whatnot?
So I would say my favorite thing is 100% the community because we wouldn't have most of the acting opportunities or the fan games or the songs if it wasn't for the community coming together and working together and to create something amazing. And I think I idolize that of how people can just come together, be friends over something that they love and create this wonderful project because we like the same genre or the same game, which is being Sonic, you know? And I think that's just pretty wonderful to have is having such a strong community that accepts everybody, no matter kind of like who you like, what you like, you know? And I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And what would you say is something that's been really keeping you just um, like when it comes to everything, like in 2025 in general, what's something that you've kind of been dabbling into that's also just kind of like, it just keeps your muscles, like the creative blood just pumping, so to speak.
I definitely started doing voice casting and tried to do more cast calls for stuff. I have it something for a project that I'm working on. I've been learning to mix more for my vocals to do covers because I've always like paid someone to do it because I didn't understand how it kind of worked. But now I'm kind of like starting to understand. I think it's a lot of fun. I've gotten more onto a writer side of stuff where either I'll be a second ear or come up with ideas for a story. And I think that's a lot of fun. And I've tried to dive more into different art styles as well, which is pretty fun. So for commissions, I won't be sticking to a single art style, just kind of like have fun and try something different, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Um, how do you in like with the voice casting and writing, like is it something that you're really starting to enjoy?
Yeah, I know when I was younger, I used to write a lot of like stories, but they were never like cohesive because I just didn't know how to write a story that was good. Either I just kept going with the story and I never finished it because I just kept coming up with an idea and ideas, so the story never finished, and I never finished that sort of idea of that story. It's funny because I used to love to write, but now I don't do it as much anymore. But I love coming up with ideas to help other people write. And I think for the voice cast, it's great because I feel like I have a decent ear for things that I want to have voiced or sound in a way. So I always like to try different things, listen to different voices. And the project that I had, we had, I think, almost 100 submissions, close to almost 100 submissions. So I had to listen to over 100 different people's submissions, and now they're going through a second round. It just finished a couple days ago, so now I have to go listen through that to hear if I want to do a third round or not. So it's been really, really fun.
Yeah. And what is something that you always that you always think back to that, it really brings to mind and you just kind of go back to this time where you're like, wow, I think this is actually really for me when it comes to acting or singing or just everything that you do.
I think when I first started voice acting, that's when I had that epiphany of like this is kind of made for me, because I knew I always loved singing and I love recording my voice and doing songs. And then I I love acting, and I grew up with theater in school and doing live stage and musical theater, and it just didn't feel right. It's funny, I always got stage fright doing theater performances, but when it came to musical performances, like singing on stage for like a concert, I was fine. And then I found voice acting and I tried it out for the first time, and sorry, my bad. I also just woke up. When I found voice acting, I found it very reassuring that I could feel comfortable in a space to record without really having people's eyes on me and more their ears on me. And it just felt more right. And I felt more I could express myself through voice acting than being on stage. Because I never believed that I had a very expressive face. But vocal wise, I believe I have a very expressive range. And I would love to be able to tell stories with that and hone that skill. And I think it's something that I've grown to love and appreciate.
So stage was kind of like the building blocks to helping you alongside VO and everything that you're doing currently.
Yeah, exactly. It helped me learn a lot about how to read scripts, how to act, first of all. I didn't know how to act beforehand, and I didn't know how to take direction. And it really taught me how to take direction in my acting, how to memorize scripts, how to really get into character. And it was really like the stepping stone for me to understanding the basic acting levels of stuff, and then going into VO, which is a whole different acting experience. But you could take those basic levels and then enhance them and enhance your skills for voice acting, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just glad the theater kind of really helped you because I know when it comes to theater, just doing musical theater, it just really helps you a lot with so many different skills, and I think it kind of really does translate itself pretty heavily when it comes to voice acting because you're really physical and you have breath. It is really much a lot of techniques that you learn with like breath control, singing and so on and so forth. Then it can really come in handy when it comes to playing certain characters.
Yeah, of course. I definitely feel with my years of training for vocal performance, with all that breath support that I learned and learning how
Oh
to
yeah.
read sheet music and whatnot, it really helps you kind of hone that skill into voice acting. So if you're doing like intense screams or something, you have that breath support and you know exactly where to place those screams so you're not ruining your vocal cords or causing yourself to go on a vocal hiatus because you've hurt your cords and you need a break. So it's really cool taking the two different mediums in vocal performance and vocal skills and kind of just putting those together to make a really cool opportunity to show off this character because you can do it safely and not kill your voice.
Yeah. And what do you mainly do that's like self-care in a way? I know it's kind of like, oh boy, here comes the mental health talk, but I just kind of want to know from, you.
um when it comes to self-care, I definitely, if I need a mental health day or if I need to take care of myself, I hop off the internet or I'll go play games with my friends like on Discord, and I'll have like a day for myself where I'm just not focusing, because primarily a lot of the internet caters towards my mental health, and it sucks because there's a lot of really negative stuff on the internet. And to make sure that I'm feeling good, I'm going to take away that partial negativity away from me. I definitely know that I've been trying to get better into skincare and taking care of my face and making sure I'm using the right hair products for my hair, and I definitely know I try to dress myself more to make myself feel better about myself when I go out in public. Even if I'm at work, I make sure that I feel like I'm decent enough to kind of leave the house, you know? I definitely know for mental health, I take it very, very seriously. I don't mess around with it. If I feel like I need a break, I will take a break because if I push myself over the edge, I know that I'm just going to be stressing myself out more than I need to. And the more stress you have on yourself will waver in your work, and your work will deplete and diminish as it goes on, because when your mental health deteriorates, your work kind of goes with it, because you can't keep up your work and be in a mental crisis, if you get what I mean. You know, if you're at your top A game, then your work is going to be showing and proving that you're at your top A game, because, you know, you've taken that break, you've taken care of yourself, you've eaten, you drank water, and you are ready for whatever project is, you know, set in front of you. And your work will show that you are, you know, ready for it, and show that you are mentally capable at that moment to be able to handle that.
Exactly. And what would be the last, I mean, this kind of technically would be like a good closing last bit of advice, but anything else that you have, like when it comes to, you know, pursuing your pursuing your dreams or just doing just anything that you just really love and enjoy and just really making it happen? Or just any last closing thoughts, period.
I would definitely say, if you have a dream or if you have something that you truly love, regardless of what everyone else says, I would say pursue it and give it a try. You only live life once, right? And
Yeah.
if you never try it and never see how it goes through, how will you know if you will be successful in it? How can you believe in yourself for doing it if you never try it, you know? And even if you just want it as a hobby, continue it as a hobby. The most important thing for any person is to have something that makes them happy, because at the end of the day, we're going to go to our job, we're going to be, you know, miserable at our job, so we'll need that kind of pick me up. And I feel like people miss that opportunity of not being able to have that inner child and that inner peace with themselves, because we're always adulting, we're adults now, you know. And I feel like you should have that space to be able to be yourself. And if you feel like you could do an amazing job in this career path and you think you should quit your job or something, I'd say think about it, but like pursue what you believe is right and what you feel like would be a good direction for yourself. And because nothing's impossible. If you think it's impossible, it's going to be impossible. It's basically what you leave your mind up to. So if you think it's possible, then it's possible. Just do it. The worst that can happen is that it fails, and then you move on and try a different project. You know, there's never one set thing that a person is capable of doing. There are multiple things that you're more likely capable of doing than limiting yourself to one thing.
Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you so much for also sharing that. I feel like it's really important that you just find that, just really find that moment or just really think back to why you fell in love with it to begin with. And I think it's super important that we just kind of go back to our inner child and just really embrace it. That's my last bit of advice. So for anybody that wants to keep in touch, yeah, keep in touch or following stuff. But what's your socials where people can check out your work, stuff, announcements? Yeah,
Yeah,
just self promo. Any projects that you want to share? Just go ahead.
yeah, of course. My socials are on Twitter, Instagram. I also have YouTube. I don't post very often on it, but I try to. Mostly my handles are going to be at Corey's Better, or just Cori Adkins. You can easily search up my name and it'll most likely pop up somewhere and you'll see my face. um, but primarily I use a lot of Twitter. I do use Blue Sky. I've been trying to get back into more using Blue Sky as well. But yeah, upcoming projects, just wait and see for the end of this year for something awesome that we're cooking. So I can't wait to share with everyone.
Yeah, and anything that you want to close out with?
Um, Stay true to who you are and continue pursuing your dreams regardless of what people say.
Righto. And for the outro, I usually have to guest say, my name is Corey. You've heard me on this, and this is Station Square
Yeah.
Podcast with, yeah.
You want me to say just my name and then
Your name, list stuff that you've done, and this is Station Square with Robert Jackson.
okay. Hi, my name is Cori Adkins. I am most known for singing on I'm Here with Victor McKnight. You've probably seen me singing on stage with Johnny Giueli and TJ Davis, both at Sonic Expo Dallas. And this is Station Square with Robert Jackson.
Nice. And I would ask, like, if we could have like a singing type of. I don't want to put you on the spot, but yeah, I usually do this for those who have like musical. That's just me.
You want me to sing something?
Just as a little, snippet, because why not?
um, oh goodness. Follow me. I'm standing on the border of everything. There you go.
Nice. And with that, thank you so much for watching. Stick around for more Station Square coming soon. And until next time, stay awesome. God bless you all, and have a good day. Happy Saturday, whichever this goes up. I don't even know anymore. So take it easy, y'all. Bye bye.